The time is 6:15. Here's the news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. Talks between Ukraine and Russia begins at the Belarusian border. Russia says Ukraine's neutralization and demilitarization are necessary conditions for any agreement. Tourism Minister requests IGP to strictly enforce the law against those who harass tourists visiting the country. 93,000 tourists arrive in the country during the past 27 days. Youth get employment opportunities from European and Middle East countries. Minister Basil Rajapaksa acquitted from another case. Foreign news, a UN report shows true scale of climate change impacts. Sports news, football. FIFA tells Russia to complete their upcoming games in neutral territory. Local news in detail. Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga has requested the IGP to strictly enforce the law against those who harass and cause inconvenience to tourists visiting the country. In a letter to the IGP, the minister pointed out that those involved in such incidents should be severely punished, irrespective of their position. Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority says that more than 93,000 foreign tourists have arrived in the country during the past 27 days of this month. The authority said 176,000 tourists have arrived from 1st of January to yesterday. The national program to send 300,000 Sri Lankans for foreign employment has been implemented. Accordingly, the first job market took place yesterday at Anamaduwa Urban Council Hall. It has been organized under the patronage of Minister Namal Rajapaksa and State Minister Priyankara Jayaratne. More than 5,000 youth who expect to go for foreign employment attended the job market. 42 licensed foreign job agencies were present on the occasion. 3 state banks have come forward to fund the youth who do not have any money to go overseas. Deputy General Manager of the International Affairs of the Foreign Employment Bureau, Mangala Randhania, said that employment opportunities have been received from Middle East and European countries. The Kadwala Magistrates Court today acquitted Minister Basil Rajapaksa from the case filed against him in 2015 over the misappropriation of Divi Nagama funds. The then Minister of Economic Development had been accused of paying compensation and gratuity to some of the recipients from the fund of Divi Naguma Community-Based Bank of the Divi Naguma Department. 3 suspects, including the retired doctor arrested in connection with the hand grenade found at a church in Borella, have been further remanded until March 14th by the Colombo Magistrates Court. A hand grenade was discovered inside the All Saints Church in Borella on January 11th, while police had later arrested 3 individuals, including a person who worked at the church, based on CCTV footage. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with more local news. Public Utilities Commission says a 3-hour power cut will be imposed from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. for all categories. The Commission said another 30 minutes power cut can take place in the night if there is a high demand for electricity. Therefore, Chairman of the Commission, Janaka Ratnayaka, has requested the public to use electricity carefully between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. Indian naval ship Nirikshak, which is a highly advanced diving support ship of the Indian Navy, arrived at the port of Trincomalee today for facilitating mixed gas diving training for the Sri Lanka Navy. The ship was warmly welcomed by the Sri Lanka Navy in accordance with the naval tradition. After arrival, Commander Officer of the Indian naval ship, Commander Muhammad Ikram, called on Commander of the Eastern Naval Area, Rear Admiral P.D.S. Dias. Indian naval ship Nirikshak is equipped with 2 6-man recompression chambers and 1 3-man diving bell. The ship is fully capable to undertake rescue operations from the submarine in distress and training of drivers. Jaffna District Secretary Ganapathy Pillai Maheshan says that only a limited number of devotees will be allowed to attend the annual festival of St. Anthony's Church in Katchettivu. He noted that devotees attending the festival are required to have COVID vaccination cards. The annual festival of St. Anthony's Church in Katchettivu will be held on March 11th and 12th. This was announced by the District Secretary Maheshan at a preliminary discussion for the festival held at the Jaffna District Secretariat today. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The United Nations General Assembly will meet today for a rare emergency special session to discuss the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The US and Albania request Security Council meeting to vote to convene the Emergency General Assembly session, the first of its kind in 40 years and only the 11th such session in UN history. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
This is Watchlight.
Civil Aviation Authority Chairman Upul Dharmadasa said all fully vaccinated travellers do not need PCR or rapid antigen test before travelling to Sri Lanka with effect from tomorrow. He said for the inbound travellers, if the recommended doses of the COVID-19 vaccination are completed and depart from abroad 2 weeks after completion of vaccination, they will be considered as fully vaccinated. That ends Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
No matter what anyone says, for your lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines first. Talks between Ukraine and Russia begin at Belarusian border. Russia doubles interest rate after ruble slumps. A UN report shows true scale of climate change impacts. World News in detail. Talks between Ukraine and Russia have started at the Belarusian border. Ukrainian presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak has told the Reuters news agency. Kiev had earlier said its goal for the discussion was an immediate ceasefire and the withdrawal of all Russian forces from Ukraine. Russia says Ukraine's neutralization and demilitarization are necessary conditions for any agreement. Neutralization refers to a legal agreement that Ukraine will not join NATO. Demilitarization means the removal of anti-tank missiles and unmanned aircraft provided by NATO member countries. Russia has more than doubled its key interest rate after the ruble slumped by 30% against the US dollar. Bank of Russia said it raised the rate to 20% from 9.5% to help cushion the impact on prices of the ruble slide. European markets fell amid fears over financial stability, with London's FTSE 100 down more than 1% and Paris and Frankfurt about 2% lower. The price of crude oil jumped to 4.5% and the dollar and gold rose as investors sought safer places to put their money. A new UN report on the impact of the climate change is said to be the gravest assessment yet of raising temperatures affecting every living thing. The study from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change summarizes several years of research. The report will likely say that the world is fast approaching the limits of adapting to climate change. This assessment will be the second of three major reports from the IPCC and its first since November's COP26 summit. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Talks between Ukraine and Russia begin at the Belarusian border. Russia doubles interest rate after ruble slumps. A UN report shows true scale of climate change impacts. That ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
For your wheel lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Environment Minister Mahinda Marabera has instructed the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau to resume construction of the Green Sand Ferry concept from tomorrow. According to the Green Sand Ferry concept, rivers, riverbanks and the surrounding environment are protected. An area about 10 feet from the riverbank should be designated as a green zone under this system. Trees should be planted in that section and turned into a beautiful attraction. A narrow path of about 3 feet is left to travel to the sand port. That ends Development News.
Development News was brought to you by The coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928. Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Football news. FIFA has told Russia to complete the upcoming games in neutral territory under the name of Football Union of Russia without their flag and anthem following the invasion of Ukraine. Several nations have announced they will refuse to play Russia, including England and Wales, as well as Poland, the Czech Republic and Sweden. World Cup 2022 playoffs would see Russia face Poland before facing either the Czech Republic or Sweden if they win, and are scheduled to be played in March. That ends Sports News.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Qatar Airways marks a new milestone with the introduction of its 5th daily flight from Doha to Colombo, Sri Lanka, starting Thursday. The additional frequency will support increased travel demand to and from Sri Lanka, reinforcing the airline's role in assisting the ongoing recovery of the global travel and tourism in the region. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic News, courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
The central bank has proposed 2 of measures amid to preserving valuable foreign exchange, including high import duties on non-essential imported goods. Accordingly, the central bank has proposed the government to impose higher duties on about 700 imported items which are considered non-essential to curtail demand and to increase government revenue. That ends economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The weather report.
Met Department says showery condition in northern, north central, eastern and Uva provinces is expected to enhance from 2nd to 4th of March. Heavy rainfall above 100 mm can be expected at some places in these areas during this period. Several spells of showers will occur in eastern and Uva provinces and Mathare district during tomorrow. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in Gaul, Mathare, Ratnapura and Nuvareli districts during the evening or night. Wind speed can increase up to 40 km per hour at times in Uva and northwestern provinces and in Batiklu, Ampara, Hambantota and Mathare districts. That ends with the report. To wrap up the evening news on Broad Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Talks between Ukraine and Russia begin at a Belarusian border. Russia says Ukraine's neutralization and demilitarization are necessary conditions for any agreement. Tourism Minister requests IGP to strictly enforce the law against those who harass tourists visiting the country. 93,000 tourists arrive in the country during the past 27 days. Youth get employment opportunities from European and Middle Eastern countries. Minister Basil Rajapaksa acquitted from another case. Foreign news, a UN report shows true scale of climate change impacts. Sports news, football, FIFA tells Russia to complete the upcoming games in neutral territory. With that, we conclude the evening news broadcast on Radio Sri Lanka. Back to my good friend and US, Mariela Bandot.